Tidenes Tour de France presenteres I samarbeid med kaffe fra Solberg og Hansen, klokkene fra Seiko Prospect-serien og sportsbriller fra Northug. Hjertelig velkommen skal du være til Tidenes Tour de France, alles favorittpodcast. Og jeg Hanso, som vanlig, og med meg har jeg deg, Hjalle.
Hello.
Hello. Ja, hallo på deg. I dag jeg har litt sånn goosebumps, som de sier I Uniten. Jeg har det.
Ja, ikke sommerfugler I magen?
Jo, det også. Litt sånn, jeg merker, det jo, fordi I dag har vi kanskje mest profilerte gjesten som vi har hatt. Det jo sånn at podcasten vår, den har jo nå spredd seg utenfor våre landegrenser.
Utenfor EU?
Utenfor Schengen, utenfor alt.
Ja.
Så nå vi ble kontaktet vi bidro kanskje litt, men vi ble kontaktet av da en fyr som har syklet Tour de France et par ganger. Og så har han stort sett kranglet med folk I ettertid. Så vi skal I dag ha en alvorsprat, med selveste Tyler Hamilton. Det gøy.
Det blir gøy.
Det moro, det.
Jeg fryktet jeg skulle si Floyd Landis, nå, men da har jeg gjort research på riktig person.
Ja, bra flaks.
Og så driver jeg og trener på litt sånne lyder.
Ja, vi må jo snakke engelsk, vet du. Det blir jeg
Hør nå.
Det gruer jeg meg til. Ikke til å snakke med han. Ja. Laboratory. Jeg tenkte vi skulle være litt snille med han, men det noen andre ord?
Det øves for harde livet.
Det øves for harde livet her, altså. Nei, men dette blir utrolig spennende. Vi skal snakke med han. Han har dessverre ikke kommet til Norge. Han bor jo I Montana, så vidt jeg har sett. Litt langt å dra. Ikke at vi fremmede for å reise ned til folk og besøke dem, men borti der blir langt. Nei, så det blir spennende. Det noe spesielt du tenker du skal prate med han om? Altså, det jo doping, da. Ikke sant? Det vi egentlig snakker om jo Tour de France 2000.
Ja.
Det jo det vi har sagt til han vi skal prate om.
Der var du med en norsk rytter også, hvis jeg ikke husker feil.
Ja, hvem var med da?
Der Steffen var med han.
Han var på laget
også,
ja.
Ja.
Jaså, ja. Det må vi jo ta tak I. Men så det naturlig at vi må spørre litt om det dopinggreiene nå. Så det blir spennende å se hvor snakkesalig han
Ekstremt snakkesalig.
Det må vi håpe.
Han liker å snakke om det.
Ja, han gjør det. Han Per-kåt I hvert fall. Nei, men jeg tenker bare at vi ringer han opp, vi gjør det. Vi ringer opp Tyler. Vi ringer opp Tyler. Welcome to the show, Superman Tyler Hamilton.
Hey Hans, hey Charlie, thanks for having me on the podcast.
No, it's an honor.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking your time. Where you at now?
What part? Oh, I'm in Missoula, Montana. Yep. Montana is like north and west of the United States, so up kind of close to the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah. Of course.
So about 7 hours east of Seattle.
Yeah. No,
How about you guys? Are you guys in Oslo?
Yeah, we're in Oslo. We're in
nice.
In Greenland, in Oslo.
Awesome. What a beautiful country.
Yeah, it's
nice. I was in Oslo some years ago. So
yeah, have you been here biking, cycling, or is it?
No, I was over there for a talk. I think maybe 2015 or 16.
Okay.
I did a talk at a conference there in Oslo, and yeah, it was neat.
Yeah,
then I was a tourist for a few days, and I went up to the ski jump up there outside of town.
Holmenkollen.
Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, it's good here. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's great having you on. You know, this show is called Tidenes Tour de France, which I think it would probably mean something like the greatest Tour de France ever or something in English.
Okay.
And as you probably understand, it's the idea here is to look back and take on the great editions of the tour to kind of fill the void left by this stupid coronavirus, because the tour has been postponed this year. But life is good. What are you doing these days?
Yeah, life's good. Life is good. It's there were a few bumpy years there for sure, and I'm glad to say that's for the most part, that's behind me, and just kind of moving on in my life. Yeah, I've been, I've had a coaching business for about 10 years, a little over 10 years. That's been, chugging along, and that's been a lot of fun. And actually during coronavirus, it's certainly picked up. Yeah, and then I've been working for a financial advisory group down in Denver, Colorado. So I get down there like once a month, usually for like a work week. And I'll be going down there next week. That's been totally new and different.
You have a degree in economics?
I studied economics in college, yep. And then I had to pass an exam called your Series 65, which I passed in last February. So okay, I don't think I had studied in 30 years. No. So yeah, it was a bit of a challenge, but it was it's nice to think, kind of get outside your box a little bit, and and learn new things. I like learning, and I like trying to always better myself. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun.
And it's good. My impression is that you kind of do help athletes to kind of. Some of these athletes, they get famous and they get a lot of money when they're very young, so it's hard for them to invest properly. Is that kind of the business idea here, or?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I do work with athletes, and I do work with just everyday folk. But yeah, a lot of people, myself included, make mistakes with their money, or don't maybe get the best advice. It's really important, especially in a sport like cycling. It's like, you could be 22 years old and be, one of the best in the world, but it doesn't mean your career is going to last till you're 35 or 38. It can end like that,
exactly.
Just with a bad decision or an accident or, just an illness, it's over. That's one of the things I'd like to help out with cycling, is just trying to, have a better platform for people, for just, to help people along. It's not a great sport in terms of like longevity, in terms of with that contract. Contracts are 1 and 2 years, it seems like. Maybe these days some of the top riders get a little bit longer, but you don't have a whole lot of certainty in your life. So you do spend a lot of time kind of thinking and stressing about your future. Okay. Even when you have signed like a brand new 2-year contract, you still don't know, and there's a lot of unknowns. And
you remember that you always have to perform, and if you have a bad year, that can kind of screw up everything.
And it's easy to have a bad year. You get an injury in the spring, and then you rush back too quick, and it's super easy to have a bad year. Absolutely, or bad maybe even a couple of years for sure. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
Cyclists are put through the ringer a bit, and I wish they had a better kind of support system.
Yeah.
I've done some research on you, Tyler, and I found out that you were an alpine skier. Is that correct? Before you started full-time cycling?
I was. Yeah.
Why did you change? Was it because of an injury?
Yeah, injury. I grew up ski racing. My parents loved skiing.
Yeah. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Massachusetts, but I would drive up to New Hampshire on the weekends, and would ski Saturday and Sunday, every weekend in the winter. And my older brother started ski racing, so you always follow your older brother or older sister around. So he started, and I followed in his footsteps. Started ski racing probably at like age 7 or age 8, and then went to high school where I could ski every day in the winter, and then went to excelled. Just kept climbing the ranks really, and then went to University of Colorado in Boulder, Colorado. Yeah. They had a really good ski program. And in my second year there, my sophomore year at University of Colorado, I had an accident when we were dryland training in the fall before we got to the snow. Like we do a lot of weightlifting and running, plyometrics, and this day we were actually mountain biking. And I had a crash. I crashed and I broke 2 vertebrae in my upper back.
And of course,
that took me up.
Knowing you probably finished the whole summer training on 2 vertebrae.
I didn't.
Nothing to me.
I didn't. But stupidly, from the accident, I got up and was able to limp my way to a car and then go to the hospital, which was a bad idea. But fortunately, it was because sometimes that when you fracture your back, you can if you move, you can sever nerves, and it can go bad quickly. So I was very lucky. But when I got out of bed, I think I was in bed for 6 or 8 weeks.
Oh,
when I got out of bed, they said I could ride a road bike. So
yeah,
and,
so you did.
I had no idea. Yeah, and I had no idea Boulder is a huge cycling town. So I was in a good place for it. So yeah. But
because let's jump back in time. We've already started, but and as you said, we all know you as the guy who you contested for GC, and you were a huge star. And before that, of course, a part of the now famous US Postal team. But how you're talking about it now? But how did you first get into cycling? And my impression is that cycling, was it big in the US in the 90s?
No, it wasn't that big. We knew about Greg LeMond. People knew about him, but really the average person didn't even know about a whole lot about Greg LeMond. They maybe knew he won the Tour de France, but it wasn't very big. No, I'd say it was not very big. I started cycling originally just to keep my legs in shape for the ski season.
Yeah.
So it was just a cross training activity. So I'd ride in the summer months and did a lot of weightlifting and stuff like that. Downhill ski racers are a lot. I'd say bigger than
of course
a typical cyclist, So my biggest problem when I first started climbing the ranks here in the United States was, losing some of that muscle mass. I bench pressed a lot and did a lot of squats and all that. And,
yeah.
Look at some of some of your Norwegian alpine skiers are, they're
thick
big.
Guys.
They're big.
Thick guys.
They're thick, very thick. Yeah. They train their tails off.
And I don't think Chris Froome are benching a lot.
I don't think Chris Froome benches much.
No, it's not too much at least.
Yeah, for sure.
But then you got to Europe, and now let's just jump to the tour that we want to talk with you about, the Tour de France of 2000.
That's interesting. Why do you guys want to talk about that one?
We were touching upon some of the great tours that we've had, and I feel like you had the 99 tour that you guys won with Lance.
Yeah.
But the 2000 tour was kind of the year that you kind of proved to the world that we're for real, right?
I guess so. Yeah. I guess the first year, you could say it was maybe some people could say it was a bit of a fluke, or maybe we got a little lucky, but. The 2000 tour, I think we kind of solidified that we were, I guess, a team to be reckoned with. Yeah.
Yeah, but because the impression from what I've read and what I've heard is that after 99, some people still didn't take you guys quite seriously. It was kind of a yes but victory. It was like, yeah, but Ulrich wasn't there.
That's right. Ulrich was in, I think that year Ulrich was missing. I think he had an injury or something like that. And was Patan missing also?
Yes, he was.
Okay, so I think Alex Zule was our biggest competitor for the team. And in 99 we kind of there was the Passage de Bois where we rode across that strip of pavement that was it's when the tide is at the max, it's underwater. So that was a bad mistake, I think on the tour's part to send us down. It was so slippery. So people crashed everywhere. And, Alex Zule lost 6.5 minutes that day. Yeah. And so we had a huge advantage. There, a huge buffer. So it's fair to say, maybe we had an easier time in 99, but 2000 was, I guess, I guess a time we really had to prove ourselves. Yeah.
Let's kind of touch quickly upon 99 because coming into 99, it was the first year and the first victory. How did you guys feel when you went in with Lance, and how was you? My impression from reading articles is that you were the new kids on the block and kind of the others.
We were the new kids on the block for sure. I would say we were quietly confident, but we didn't really know. We didn't know if it was, Lance had the chance to be in the top 5 or maybe top 3, but we really didn't know. Lance came back from cancer. He joined the Postal team in '98. He didn't ride the tour in '98. He rode the Vuelta a España, and I think he was fourth in the Vuelta. And then he got fourth in the World Championship time trial, I believe. So, and then Johan came to the team, Johan Bernal, and he came in with a lot of confidence, and he seemed to fit in really well. And we went into the '99 tour with some quiet confidence, but we were still a kind of a low budget team. We had two rented camp. We didn't have a bus or anything. We had two rented campers. Yeah. And it was.
What was your role?
Yeah, but those were fun days. Those were fun days because we were the bad news bears, so to speak, and we were, a lot of people said, okay, you have a strong rider in Lance Armstrong, but you have a weak team behind him. So,
how old were you in '99?
'99, I was 28.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
And already then you were kind of the main lieutenant in the mountains and stuff, or?
Yeah, one of them. For '99, I think it was Kevin Livingston, who was a great climber, and myself. Yeah, for the mountains. Yeah.
Okay, then, so with '99, we all remember, or we all know that how that went. Lance won by a huge margin, and you guys were kind of meant to be. And then you came to the tour in 2000, and this was the year you had to really prove yourself, because now Ulrich was there, Pantani was there, and this was the time to prove that '99 was not a fluke. But so how did you guys feel leading up to the 2000 tour? Did you kind of like the way my impression of you at least knew Lance, and I don't think he or you guys didn't like being looked down on and being underestimated, did you?
I don't think Lance did. But for me, I don't know. I've always enjoyed being the underdog and being, kind of a quiet leader, having quiet confidence, and maybe people not talking so much about you and surprising people. Yeah. But
did you fear Pantani and Ulrich?
Yeah, we feared them both. Yeah, we definitely feared them both. The results of the '99 tour, the 2000 tour, what? Ulrich was second, and then I think Pantani dropped out, right?
Yeah, to quit. But
that's right.
We always start to look at the favorites going into the tour, and when I look at you have these pre-races, of course the 1 week races, the Dauphiné and the Tour de Suisse, Switzerland, and do you know remember who won the Dauphiné in 2000?
Yeah. Some guy from Missoula, Montana. That's what I heard.
Yeah, that's what you heard. How did Lance? He finished third. What happened here? How did Lance take that?
How did Lance take third?
Yeah, that you his being his lieutenant kind of went ahead and won the.
Let's see. The Dauphiné. I think he had beat me in the early time trial, but then I think it was on Mount Ventoux. It was a Mount Ventoux stage. I think Lance was in yellow. It finished on the top of Mount Ventoux. Lance was in yellow. They told me to cover any attacks on the lower slopes of Mount Ventoux.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. I covered a break, an attack, and then I just sat on, and I was kind of waiting to hear in the radio that Lance was trying to bridge across. Maybe I'd drop back and help pull him back up to the break. Yeah. But I kept waiting, and eventually Johan got on the radio and said, Lance isn't feeling very well, and if you can go for the stage win, go for it. So
nice.
I won that. I think I won that stage, and then
and also the next one.
I think Zubeldia was took the lead that day. That guy from Spain.
Yeah. By the way, Zubeldia, he's still riding. He's been on the top since 2000. It's insane. I feel like he retired last year or something.
Did he retire? I can't remember. He might have retired.
I hope he has. He has to be.
Okay. Yeah, but he had a long career for sure. Long career. So we were still. So he took over the lead, and then the next day, where was it? It finished in
Digne-les-Bains.
Exactly. And we had to climb, maybe a Cat 2 climb right before it, and then we descended like madmen into that town.
Yeah.
And let's see, I think I attacked first, Lance bridged across, and we finished 1-2 that day. That was pretty cool.
And then he let you have the stage?
He let me have the stage, yeah. He knew I think he knew it was coming up in July, so.
But do you think he starts, to look at you in a different way? Because potentially you can be standing in his way inside the US Postal team in the future. Do you think he looks different on you when you are this strong? Or is he glad?
I mean, it's the better I did, though. I guess the more complicated our relationship became, I would say, because the media spoke a lot about me maybe becoming a team leader someday and all that. He read all the stuff. He read all the media. So he'd hear about it. But I was at the time I was happy to be helping him out and getting my opportunities in other races. Fast forward 1 year later, I think I came to the point where I could look back 3 years and look ahead 3 years and see myself in the same position. So that's when, at the end of the 2001 season is when I decided to go elsewhere. Yeah.
And in the Tour de Suisse, Ulrich struggled, but started to show somewhat of a form, getting 5th place. And so of course, you had Armstrong was a favorite, Pantani, Ulrich, as we mentioned. And you had the outsiders like Richard Virenque, the climber. He was young, at least in 2000.
Yeah.
Bobby Julich. He was kind of looked at. I think he finished 3rd in the Tour in the 98.
98, he finished 3rd. Yep.
Did you guys look at him as a favorite, or was it?
I mean, certainly a guy you have to pay attention to. I wouldn't say he was like our first or second big favorites, but a guy in the top 10 or 15 that we certainly we weren't going to let him get 5 or 10 free minutes in a breakaway for sure. We kept our eyes on him.
And you had the Kelmer guys. Fernando Escartin.
That's right. Yeah. Escartin. He was a monster on the climbs. Yeah, he could push a big gear on the climbs, and she's strong. Strong.
And he had these youngsters with him, Santiago Botero and Roberto Heras, that of course joined you guys later on.
That's right. The next year. Yeah.
So.
It was an interesting team. I was let's see. I think Frankie Andrea was on the team. Who else? George Hincapie, Christian Van der Velde. Was Stefan on the team then?
Yes.
Stefan Kierkegaard?
Yeah, he was.
He was?
Both in 2000 and 2001.
And 2001, that's right. Yeah, good guy. Strong, so strong.
I think you said later that he worked his socks off during Dauphiné.
Oh, yeah. He was a key kind of lieutenant for me in the Dauphiné. Rode incredibly well. And I think that solidified his spot on the tour team, his good ride in the Dauphiné. Yeah. By the year 2000, we had a pretty solid team. I think 24, 25 riders. So it was hard just to make the selection. But yeah, he was an incredible cog for us on the Tour de France team and the Dauphiné team. Yeah. How's Stefan doing?
We I don't know. We haven't spoken with him. He's kind of went underground after the.
The media really beat him up. Yeah, the media beat him up pretty good.
Yeah, but also he was the head of the Norwegian Cycling Association. So it was kind of I think it was a strategic move for him to kind of. But we would really love to talk to him. So.
Well, yeah, I think he should. He's a good person, absolutely good person, and he's got a big heart. And I know he feels bad about what happened, but
you can't have a lifetime ban. That's not how it works.
Yeah,
everybody's allowed to do mistakes. At least in my view.
But
absolutely.
When you went to Norway in 2015, you actually had a chat with Stefan. How was that?
Yeah, it was nice. We were there at their Norwegian anti-doping agency, and I went there to meet with them and talk to them. And Stefan stopped by to say hello and meet with us, and that was really nice. It was great to see him, and but living here in the States, I don't read the Norwegian news all the time. And he told me it had been a hard period for him. And that made me sad. And I hope he's doing better today. And I think he deserves to be forgiven.
Yeah,
he's not the only athlete ever in Norwegian sport to dope. I guarantee you that. That's for sure. So, and I think they beat him up pretty good. Pretty good.
In Norway, because we haven't had that many doping scandals. So in Norway, we kind of
that doesn't mean it doesn't happen.
Of course not. But it's kind of struck down hard because it is actually one of the first big cases in Norwegian sports history. And of course, there's a lot of stuff we don't know.
Absolutely.
But and that's probably why the media was so rough on him. Of course, the position he had, but because Stefan was he was a strange kind of piece in the US Postal team. It was like this Norwegian guy. How did you find Stefan? How did he come into the team?
Oh, he was a great teammate. I think he had really good results in the previous team. I think it was called Jack and Jones or something like that.
Yeah,
I think he was riding on that team in maybe 98 and 99. And he impressed the team. He impressed Johan Brunel. And I think that was his, they brought him onto the team. And he's just a great guy, soft-spoken, big heart, and always did his job,
Yeah.
Always did his job.
Okay.
And typically that was for others. So he's typically working for others. And, he was a good teammate, absolutely.
Hey Charlie.
Hello.
Nice watch you got there.
Montana.
Vi skal bare titte innom og si at vi har en konkurranse gående der folk så rause med oss. Utrolig rause med oss. Så de rater podcasten stort sett 5 stjerner. Jeg tror vi har fått noen som ikke var helt happy med alt. Men sånn det. Sånn det når man lager podcast. Noen vil hate det. Haters gonna hate, som Miley Cyrus.
Som hater podcasten som hører på.
Og det også noe rart. Det veldig interessant de som har hørt gjennom. Vi har 2 timer med nerdeprat. De har giddet å høre på det. For så å kunne skrive et krast review etterpå. Og det beundrer jeg, og vi takknemlige for det. Så lenge du gidder å sette deg ned og skrive en review, det det som teller. Alle som skriver skal få lov å være med i trekningen, fordi vi har en gøy konkurranse gående sammen med Seiko, der man kan vinne en av de råstilige Seiko-alpinistene, limited edition, til en verdi av nesten 9.000 kroner. Vi trekker en heldig vinner som har ratet podcasten, eller har skrevet noe hyggelig til oss, og det viktigste at dere hører på sånn, sant? Det alle med. Send e-postadresse og adressen deres til oss på direkte melding på Instagram eller Facebook, så finner dere. That's it.
Buenos dias.
Buenos dias. But the main topic leading into the Tour of 2000 was that there had been developed a new testing method that could detect EPO.
Oh, yeah.
That?
Yeah.
It had been impossible until 2000. How did the peloton react to this? I guess a lot of people were afraid.
Yeah. I remember hearing about it maybe in the spring of 2000, I mean, I think the whole peloton heard about it.
Yeah.
The news got leaked, or maybe purpose, I thought it'd be a good idea if they're really trying to catch people, like don't tell anybody and then do this surprise test. But for whatever reason, the news got leaked. So people, I think teams were warned ahead of time. So,
so they stepped up the EPO gas.
Yeah, for sure. And, what we didn't know 100% or not if they were going to use it in the tour, but we knew it was good. They were developing a test. And, they were going to use it at some point.
How did you guys, what did you guys do? Do you remember, was it kind of a team decision that we can't do the EPO anymore? We have to find a different...
Yeah.
How do you guys do that? Is it a meeting? Is it like Johan is like, let's have a meeting, guys?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'll tell you the whole story. For me, so it was the Saturday, Dauphiné, the race in June finished on a Sunday. Yeah. It was Saturday night. So we had one stage to go. I was in the yellow jersey and, I was about to win the biggest race of my life. It was, the night before the last stage, and Johan came into my room there in France and told me that we were on that following Tuesday. We were going to be flying from. At the time I was living outside of Nice, France. He said that following Tuesday morning we were going to be flying to Valencia, and we were going to get get blood extracted.
Okay.
For a blood transfusion. So
that was the first time you had done transfusions. Up until then, it was only
first time. I'd never even heard about people doing it in cycling. You know, I mean, I heard about it. It happened like in the 80s and stuff, but I didn't know people were doing it. So I don't know.
So
I don't know
to you, it sounded like old school. Like kind of is this safe in today's age to do this?
Oh, I mean, I knew nothing about it. He told me it was going to, Johan told me it was going to be safe and it was going to be handled properly by, team doctors, and they knew what they were doing. And, I assume they had experience doing it, and, we arrived, won the Dauphiné the next day, and then, went home for one day, I remember, and then had to fly to Valencia to do this procedure. And they picked us up, we flew on Lance's private jet from Nice down to Valencia. The staff was there on the tarmac waiting for us. Mm. They shuttled us off to a secluded hotel, and this is just three of us. Lance, Kevin, and myself.
Was it only you guys who did that?
Yeah.
Or was it everyone on the team?
It was just us three, as far as I know. As far as I know, yeah. So I didn't ever speak to. Yeah.
So the rest of the team didn't use transfusions.
Yeah, no. Not that I know of. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And it was because you guys.
But I think if you fast forward a few years, after I left the team, I think they did at one point. They did the whole team.
Yeah. Okay. Why did you have to go to Spain? Is it different rules? Is it safer there? Is it?
One of our team doctors worked there down in Valencia. Had a clinic there, so I think you get all the proper materials and all that. So we went out to some hotel out on the beach and far away from anything. Sat there, laid down in my hotel room. Yeah, and they took, extracted a liter of blood.
Yeah. And Tyler, did you feel?
And then we went out on a training ride that afternoon, and it felt terrible. I went from winning the Dauphiné a few days before to you feel it when you lose a liter of blood. Or whatever it was, 450 cc's of blood.
Did you feel up to this point that you were totally safe? Now you heard that they might do a EPO test method that could get you guys, and also it was talk about freezing down urine samples to retest them later, and they also started with out of competition testing at this point. Did you feel that the gain you had on the anti-doping bureau, you started to be more hunted in this race now?
I mean, I felt like I did feel like the walls were closing in, and we had the 98. We had the 98. I rode the 97 and 98 tours, and 98 was the Festina affair. So it went from before the Festina affair to everything wide open. People getting handed little white lunch bags to take with them when they go home. Very open. I call that the Wild West days. But then ever since the Festina affair, it seemed like the walls were closing in and closing in and closing in. By 99, 99 was... but
still, there was no...
I'd say way less.
In quitting. You wouldn't quit.
Oh. I mean, I thought about it, but, I felt like I was in the middle of this mess, and I kind of gotten started, and it's just, why turn around now? Oh yeah, I mean, I wish I'd done a lot of things differently.
Of course,
for sure. But once you get caught up in it, really, once I took that for me, the first time I ever doped was 97, the spring of 97. The team doctor handed me this little red capsule and this a pill of testosterone. And once I crossed that line, it was just, I don't know, it was small little baby steps, and before I knew it, in the year 2000, it was blood transfusion. But I kind of felt like I was going along with just team orders, and I don't know, if I said no to Johan there in the room, I don't know what would have happened.
Yeah.
I don't know if you would have taken me the tour. I mean, Lance would have been pissed.
Yeah,
for sure. So, you know, if I didn't do that, said no to it, and said, I don't know. I don't think I think I'm persona non grata.
Yeah. No, that's how it happens, and I think that's how it happens for most people. That, as you said, baby steps. Okay, let's jump into the 2000 tour, the opening stage. Armstrong. Lance proves his form. You performed.
Was he got second or something?
Yeah, he did.
I think I was top 10, maybe.
Yeah, you finishing in 9th, I think. And Ulrich, he was on par. Pantani, he used to roll with like training wheels or something during time trials.
Oh, yeah.
He finished in the 136th spot, 2 minutes and 16 seconds behind. Why was he so bad at time trialing? Why he shouldn't he, like is this?
He was Pantani.
Yeah.
He was just a little. He was a little guy. He was just he was tiny. Yep. But you know, he could time trial. I remember the final time trial and then the 98 tour that he won that tour that year.
Yeah.
I think he had a really good ride in that final time trial. So I don't know, but in general, he's a small little climber. Typically, small little climbers don't time trial that well.
No, but Contador, for example, he used to time trial well in the tour. So it's he's just more than a climber for sure. Pantani was, for me, a pure climber. Yeah, and my God,
Alberto Contador is more well-rounded. What's that?
Yeah, but Pantani, how like I miss. I really enjoyed that type of rider.
I miss him.
Yeah, but he rides with the emotions. It's like he attacks. He's fearless, and you don't see those guys anymore. You have like the Froomes and they're just looking down on their watt meters, and I miss the like.
He was great.
You still have Nibali. You have Contador to some extent. He still had this this passion. It's more passion and less kind of less science.
More less methodic. Yeah.
And then you kind of have the next stage that meant something was the team time trial. Yeah.
You know, I mean, we had a pretty good plan. I think it was maybe it was 50 or 60 kilometers. The time trial, the team time trial, and. But yeah, it was pretty flat to rolling the whole time. But we had one climb, and it was this long bridge that maybe Nazaire or something bridge. I can't remember, but it was a big bridge, and it was it was in the last maybe 10 or 15 kilometers of the stage. Let's call it the last 10K of the day. And we told Lance that he couldn't pull on that climb, and if he did find himself at the front, certainly don't stand up. You know, if you are at the front, you know, because you're going through the line, right, in the pace line. And we told him if he did end up at the front, stay seated, take your pull, come around, you know. But he, got excited. I mean, you can't fault him for it. I mean, you know, I guess he broke the plan, and I think that happens sometimes. He was super eager, but he stood up and he had the whole team on the rivet. We exploded, and we had to wait he had to wait at the top, and we all kind of had to come back. But
But the US Postal team in the latest years of the Armstrong victories, they were kind of the best team time trial team. But in the 2000, you guys weren't favorites.
We were one of the better ones, but not the best. Yeah, I think in the later years they became like one of the best teams around. I think there was Once, a Spanish team that beat us. I think they beat us pretty handily. But we weren't. I think they became, after I left the team, they became, I think, a little bit more of a well-oiled machine. A little bit more dialed in. We were, we were pretty good then, but we weren't the best. Yeah.
So and Laurent Jalabert, Jalabert?
Jalabert, yeah.
He picked up the yellow jersey, and of course he rode on Team Once, so he kept the jersey after that stage. What do you remember of Laurent Jalabert? He was
Laurent Jalabert, good guy. We were teammates in 2002.
Yes.
And then later I rode with his brother Nicholas for some years. Yeah.
He was kind of a strange rider because he was a good climber, so he could kind of contest for the GC, but also he was a good sprinter, so he won the points shares. I think he won the point shares in all of the Grand Tours.
Yeah, and I think he won the Mountains jersey maybe in the 2002 tour.
Yeah. I don't remember exactly which one.
Yeah, he was an attacker. I don't know. He was a quiet guy. Always very friendly to me. But kind of let his legs do the talking, really.
Yeah, he won the mountain specification both in 2001 and 2002. So.
We were teammates there in 2002. Yeah. So what? So he took yellow that day?
Yeah, the day before, and he kept it because he the team wants a
little wrong.
Yeah. So the next stages were pretty normal for the tour. You have like some breaks went, and the big teams made sure to keep the gaps manageable and under control. Det høytid I podcasten, for det tid for tidenes Tour de France-quiz. Nå har vi kommet til uke 6?
Ja.
Uke 6. Det tida flyr. For det bare 1 uke igjen, altså. Så dette begynner å bli en av de siste mulighetene å gjøre det på hvis man skal få vært med her. Premien jo som alltid vi har jo med oss Northug på laget som lager bra briller, altså det har vært ordentlig bra briller. Jeg henger meg opp I det at jeg tror bare det viser hvor lite bevandret jeg I kvalitetsbriller, fordi det noe som jeg har aldri sett så godt en sommer som jeg har denne sommeren her, så det vil jeg I hvert fall jeg håper folk med bare for de synes det moro, men en ekstra bonus jo at man kan vinne de brillene, daycruiserne til Northug, som ser ganske fett ut. Men vi må hoppe inn I spørsmålet. Vi snakker jo om Tour de France 2000, og dette var en tid hvor Lance Armstrong herja, og han hadde det I kjeften også, ikke bare I fetta. Og spørsmål uke 6 som følger. Hvilket lite flatterende kallenavn brukte Lance Armstrong om Marco Pantani under touren I 2000? Altså, hvilket lite flatterende kallenavn brukte Lance Armstrong om Marco Pantani under touren I 2000? Vet du svaret, Sunna?
Nei, jeg gjør ikke det. Jeg får vel høre på podcasten.
Ja, kjenner du Marco Pantani?
Nei.
Døren ærlig. Så han var legendarisk og god, altså.
Okay.
Han døde for øvrig ganske tidlig. Fikk litt trøbbel. Han ble tatt for doping og sånn. Dette hører man mer om I podcasten. Så vi skal ikke ta ut mer tid. Altså, hvilket lite flatterende kallenavn brukte Lance Armstrong om Marco Pantani under touren I 2000? Svaret, det sender man som alltid på direktemelding på Instagram. Husk å følge oss der, @tidenespodd. Kan sende på Facebook også. Og så måtte den med mest flaks stikke av med brillene.
Yes.
Ok, tilbake til podden. But then we come to stage 10, and this was the first real test of the big favorites. It was the first mountain stage, and with a top finish on top of the Hotakam. Do you remember the Pyrenees? Remember the Hotakam?
I remember that. Yes. Who won? A guy from Kelme won, a Spanish guy. Ochoa. Yeah. Ochoa won, and I remember it was raining, and it was a hard day. I remember not having the greatest day of my career on that stage.
No.
But Lance. I think Lance took yellow after that day.
Yeah, it was 205 kilometers long stage.
Okay.
And and it was bad weather, and Armstrong loved. He liked the bad weather, and Ulrich he wanted the warm weather.
I do remember that. I remember the night before that stage, Lance was like, he found out it was going to be raining, and he was like, kind of dancing around the hotel, like excited. I do remember that. Yeah.
And as you mentioned, Javier Ochoa, he went over to Abisk first, and following him was a group with Skartin and Virank. And 3 minutes further back was the main contenders, Armstrong, Süle, Ulrich, Pantani. And then the telecom rider, Giuseppe Gurini. He did a lot of the work in that group. And then into the final climb, Pantani, he attacked. Armstrong and Süle were the only ones who could go with him, and then Armstrong jumped and dropped first Süle, and then he went just past Pantani. So he went up the road to catch the other one, but Ochoa was too far ahead. So Ochoa won the stage. And then Lance, he came in 42 seconds later. And then the beaten and damaged, the Virank and Escartin came. And then Sulla and Ulrik was far behind, more than 4 minutes behind Ochoa.
Wow.
So as you said, Lance took the yellow jersey. And he now was leading the tour with more than 4 minutes on the Ulrik. And also we had Christophe Moreau. Do you remember Christophe Moreau?
Oh yeah. Good rider.
And Lance, he was riding like he got the devil behind him up the Hautacam. He was so determined. The speed was so high. It seemed like he had been waiting for this possibility for many years, to kick the ass of Ulrich and Patani and show who was the big master.
Yeah, he rode with a lot of anger, I think, and I'm sure all the people doubting him, after the '99 tour, like saying like, okay, Pantani wasn't there, and Ulrich wasn't there, like that made him angry, and that I think that really fueled his fire. So. Yeah, I don't know. I can't really speak for him, but I'm sure he was just, once he got the gap on those guys, he was just, trying to kill him, really.
When Lance took the yellow here, was it like, now we got this, we just have to or was it like it's still a long way to go? So
there's still, I think we were very happy after that day. I think we had a nice gap. Who was second? Who was second on GC after that day?
Ulrich.
Ulrich. Okay. So like 3.5 minutes behind, kind of thing.
Yeah, 4 minutes more than a bit more than 4 minutes behind.
Got it. So
it's a good.
So yeah, we had a good gap. Then after a stage like that, it narrows how many people you got to really focus on. After a lot of guys, get really taken off that list of that you have to focus on. So. If we rode smart, we knew we could do it, I guess. But there's still a long ways to go, and anything can happen. Lance had a lot of luck in his Tour de France career. He stayed upright most of the time. So we were very fortunate, but it could have, crashes happen all the time.
Yeah, we've seen that with Froome and others.
Yeah,
I'd just like to speak for one moment about Javier Ochoa, who won this stage.
Yes,
he was riding for Kelme, and he attacked with 155k left of the stage. He got rid of Nico Matan on the Obisque and heads into Hautacam with 9 minutes lead on the peloton. And on the top, some 16 kilometers later, he only got 42 seconds left on Lance. But sadly enough, 6 months after this victory, he and his brother Ricardo, the twin brother, gets hit by a car during a training ride.
Yeah.
His twin brother dies, while Javier ends up in a coma and becomes seriously disabled. But he doesn't quit cycling. And in 2004, he wins the gold in the road race and takes silver in individual pursuit during the Summer Paralympics. I think that's an amazing story. And a terrible story, of course. But
it gives me goosebumps. It's a sad story, but it's a story of resilience. And
exactly.
So hats off to him.
Chapeau, as they say in France.
Chapeau. And I'm sorry about his brother.
Two
incredible riders.
Yeah. Okay. So with the stage 11, the day after, it was an easier mountain stage without a top finish, so it didn't do too much in the general classification. And then it was the first rest day, and I always like to ask our guests about the rest day, because that's something that me as a spectator, I don't get to see what's going on the rest days. What did you guys do in US Postal team during the 2000 tour? During that period of time?
It depends. Sometimes we had to fly in the rest day or take a train, so it was like half the day was like getting to the airport or the train station, and it seems like it always took forever. So I think if I had to guess, I'd guess that we flew that time on the rest. So sometimes you'd fly the day before the rest day, after the stage, and other times you do it on the rest day. but yeah, well, I can't remember on that rest day if we flew or not or had to travel. But typically, yeah, you have, maybe you take it as easy as possible for sure. But you do get out for a 2-hour ride. Some people ride 3 hours on your rest day, and it's not completely easy. Not just a cruiser ride. You gotta put some force into the pedals and sweat a little bit. The biggest concern was your body shutting down. You've been racing for 10 days, 11 days, and then you have a rest day. And sometimes the next day after a rest day, you could have a bad day. What do they call it? In French, they call it un jour sans, a day without, and it happens sometimes. I think it happened to Pinot last year. Sometimes you just have a day without you can't predict it. But a good day, a good thing to do on your rest day is, push a little bit, get a good sweat on, so your body stays open. You know what I mean? When your body goes into rest and recovery mode, sometimes it takes a day or two to wake back up.
Yeah. Did you guys have your own chef with you during that period of time?
We did, yeah. The Swiss guy by the name of Willie. I can't remember Willie's last name, but yeah, great guy. He'd been working with the team for every Tour de France. He used to work with Motorola before that. Yeah, good guy. I can't remember.
What was your favorite food to eat on the rest day?
Oh man, I don't know. I honestly I don't know. I can't remember because you got sick of eating. You got sick of eating. You had to eat so much, and you're just constantly eating. I don't know. Probably coffee. I loved coffee. Morning coffee was the best.
Yeah.
So, what stage are we on? 12.
Yeah, but I just have to ask you about one thing, Tyler, because in your book you devote some extra attention to the rest day because the next stage is on Mont Ventoux.
Oh yeah,
and
that's what we did.
US Postal had a whole hotel in Saint Paul Trois Chateaux, and there I think the blood bags from Valencia came back in. That's
right.
What you did on the rest day.
Yeah. Thanks for the reminder, Charlie. Honestly, I couldn't remember if there were 2 rest days or not back then, but I think we're still in the 1 rest day. Yeah. So that's when we got the blood transfused back into us on that afternoon.
That's so crazy.
Afternoon. Yeah. It was crazy. So that was the first time I ever did a transfusion. I do remember getting the transfusion. We did it after training. I remember we went out and trained, on the foothills of Mount Ventoux, and then we came back and they quickly did this procedure, and I remember being cold. I remember it because the blood bag was cold. It had been refrigerated and it was still cold. So I remember after receiving the transfusion, I remember it being cold for like an hour. Yeah. And the next day was Mount Ventoux.
Exactly.
So you were walking around there like ghosts, a little stiff and cold in the body and long sleeves, to hit the needle spots. And
I mean, all cyclists, we were so skinny and frail, like most cyclists. Walked around the hotel in their track suits, So yeah, I mean, I think I was probably wearing my little track suit then, yeah.
But it couldn't be a good feeling.
What do you
mean? Getting blood back to the body and next day is Ventoux. Were you all psyched up and let's do this? Or did you feel a little bit ashamed? Or?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I never liked doping, that's for sure. I was ashamed of it from really day one. But yeah, this is something that the team kind of asked me to do, and I just went along with it. Ashamed, deep down, in the back of my head, deep down, but I didn't have time to like get all negative. Like I tried to stay positive and just bury those feelings deep inside. I'll just deal with those feelings at a different time, but I tried not to get too down about that second secret life that we had, a lot of us had, So yeah, it was a weird, definitely weird.
What was your impression that all the other teams are doing the exact same thing right now anyways? Or was it? Like they're in their own hotels.
If I can't say 100%, but if I had to guess, yeah, I think some of the other GC leaders and some of the other like top maybe climbing domestiques were doing that, but I don't know for sure. But that's
So in your team,
based on my knowledge. Yeah, we weren't the only team doing it. So
no,
but yeah, we can let those.
Postal,
What's that?
I'm sorry. In the US Postal team, it was only you and Kevin Livingston and Lance who did the transfusions that year.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And then I didn't do it again, transfusion again until 2002. After that.
Oh.
So yeah.
Okay. How come?
Yeah, I don't know. They didn't ask me to do it the next year on the team, so I didn't do it, and then I did
you
it.
Rolled well. You rolled well in 2001. Like you were.
It's domestic. We brought in 2001. We brought on bigger riders. Roberto Heras, Chechu Rubiera, Victor Hugo Pena. So we had a solid team. We had guys that actually replaced me as the climbing domestique. So in the 2000s season, I rode more like in the middle of the race instead of the last kind of climbs. We had Heras and Rubiera to.
In 2001, yeah. How did you feel about that? They taking when they took on Roberto Heras, it kind of bumped you down a level.
All good. Yeah, I don't know. Those guys were big champions, especially Roberto was. I think he had won the Vuelta, and so I was excited to kind of learn from riders who are better than me and more experienced than me. So yeah, it was fun. And it was fun. I learned a lot more Spanish that way. And they were fun. The Spanish were just pretty laid back people, and so I thought they brought a lot of like tranquility to the team.
Yeah,
for sure, and fun. So yeah, what stage are we at?
We're not doing every stage, but we're doing the main stages. So the day after.
Okay. Yeah. So all right, rest day. Sorry about that. Thanks for the reminder, Charlie. Yeah, we did a transfusion. The next day was Mount Ventoux.
Exactly.
Yeah, I remember not feeling that great on that day. I did my job. But I didn't do. I'd say, if I didn't do a great job that day. I just didn't. Some days you have it, some days you don't have it.
Yeah, well, I think you had it because from what I can see here, at the base of the climb of the Mont Ventoux, you and Kevin, you set such a hot pace that Sille, Escartin, and Moreau were dropped.
Yeah.
So I think you were up there. And
I remember pulling, but not for very, very long. I remember being towards the front, but then taking my pull and not doing it very long, and then having that.
No, because when you were finished, when you were done, it was only 7 riders left. It was Lance, Heras, Botero, Bellocchi, Richard Virenque, and Ulrich and Pantani. Not exactly the good guys. When
there you go.
In the back mirror. But Pantani, he was yo-yoing on and off the back as Ulrich was driving the group hard. And then after the riders climb past the tree line, in Ventoux, it's the bald mountain, is that what they call it? With about 5 kilometers to go, Pantani surprised everyone and went to the front and delivered a series of hammer blows.
That's right.
And the last one, nobody could withstand. But then Lance, he leaped out of the chasing group and went after Pantani and caught him. And near the top, Armstrong tried to encourage Pantani and yelled, Vince, and it means victory, I think. But Pantani misunderstood and thought Armstrong said vitesse, which I think means go faster, and that he was trying to antagonize him. And at the top, it looked like Armstrong eased off and let Pantani have the win, have the victory for that stage. And then afterwards is where the drama really sets in, because in the press conference afterwards, Lance indicates that he had indeed let Pantani win the stage, and that humiliated and enraged Pantani. He said that he won the sprint fairly. And then Armstrong used the infamous El Fantino.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
On Pantani.
Yeah.
And making fun of his somewhat prominent ears, I guess.
Yeah, that was a mistake. He gave Pantani the win, but he should have kept his mouth shut. And, didn't need to make those comments.
But it's kind of it's kind of a trait from looking from the outside of Lance Armstrong. He can't just let things slide. He just has to kind of I let him win. I could have beaten him. I'm the greatest, but I let him win. The Fantino guy.
I don't know. He was a bit that way for sure. I think he regrets some of those things that he did, or some of the things he said for sure. But that caused a lot of problems, like within the team. Pantani was pissed. He was pissed, and he should have been. Saying that Pantino was not cool. And
it's kind of a Donald Trump move.
He caused us big problems. Later in the race, he was pissed, and he did one of those just insane attacks on one of the mountain stages later in the race, and it blew up our whole team, and it was Kevin Livingston and myself chasing him the whole day. I mean, it all worked out, but it could have been really bad. So
after stage 12, Lance still was in the lead in the general classification before, and he had Ulrich, Belocchi, Moreau, Beltran, and Virank, and the places behind him. Cliffhanger. Nå som vi har med en vaskeekte amerikaner, så må vi må kjøre cliffhangers. Det sånn de gjør det I USA. Det to be continued. Man skal pines. Jeg vet ikke om det sluttet så spennende. Man skal jo helst gjøre det. Men hva synes du om engelsken min da?
Jo, den jo forståelig.
Det det beste der å si om den?
Ja. Neida, du jo flink du altså. Men ja.
Nei, men jeg tror vi bare må smøre oss med tålmodighet for å høre mer av den behagelige engelsken der. Det får man mer av. Man får høre det på tirsdag. Da får du del 2 av episoden med Tyler Hamilton. Og jeg kan røpe så mye som at det blir betraktelig mer juicy etter hvert. Dette ikke noe jeg hører at jeg driver og tuber continuer, men vi kan si sånn, vi snakker jo ikke så mye om Tour de France I 2000. Det jo mest doping og Tyler og Lance som vi opptatt av. Det jo det som juicy. Og jeg merker at jeg ble litt sånn, jeg la meg liksom charmere han amerikaner, og jeg hadde han liksom bildet av han på Mac-en, så jeg satt liksom sånn rett I fjeset. Men Jarle, han begynner å skyte ganske hardt. Han god. Jarle god. Han god, han journalist, steingod. Og her viser han virkelig at han Norges beste sykkeljournalist. Så hvis jeg var deg og dere, så vil jeg høre på neste episode, del 2 med Tyler Hamilton, for der blir det litt mer temperatur.
Ja, ok. Gleder meg.
Det bare å glede seg. Snakkes!